And today I remembered an incident that really brought home to me how important it is for us to know that the majority of people that we come across are not actual humans, and they're not just random people on the street either. Because, Ed, I write about this every day, how important it is. And I don't think I've shared much about how I came to think it was so important. Because, technically speaking, a lot of people will be like, so what if we don't know whether they have a soul or not? They're just random people on the street, right? Why should we bother? What's the point of bothering? Like, why should we bother? We can just do our own thing and keep going. But I want to tell you why I began to bother and how I realized that this is a very important thing. It was 2014, Ed, 2014, and I had just moved to a place in the very south of India. And Gabriel was a small baby who I had just weaned. And Ed, I had then a lot of hair, a lot of hair. I'm coming, Ed, from genetics that had a lot of hair. All my life, Ed, I have had a hair equal to 6 or 7 people's others' hair. I think even more than 6, let's say 10 people's hair combined. I had that much on my one head. Okay, my hair was a lot of hair, and I had to always keep it. As an adult, I had to always keep it plaited, you know very very tight, so that people wouldn't know how much hair it was. But when I washed my hair, Ed, and I had to dry it, then obviously it had to be let loose, and then it was quite an impressive sight. Just a lot of hair, and long as well, like till the end of my back long. And Ed, when I moved to that place, there was a balcony where the sunlight used to come in, and that was the only direct sunlight. So I would go to that balcony, Ed, and I would stand in that balcony after washing my hair to dry it. I was on the ninth floor, Ed, of an apartment building, and way across from the road there was an independent house. And every time, Ed, I used to go and stand in the balcony to dry my hair. I must have been just a very small figure up there, ninth floor, and across maybe 100 or 200 meters away from that house. But I used to notice that every time I went there and I stood there to dry my hair, this particular, who I thought was a woman, would come out into the garden of that house and be like she's watering the plants or just doing some gentle gardening thing. And I never got a good feel. I found it, I was like, what? But my mind said, come on, she's watering the plants in her house, and she's most probably not even looking here. But Ed, she sent psychic messages that she's going to take all of my hair, meaning she's going to take the sexual energy that has generated my hair, and she's going to get my hair. And Ed, every time I used to wash my hair once or twice a week, and every time I used to wash my hair and I used to stand in the balcony, she would come out and be watering the plants, whatever. And many, many times she sent this message, and I even mentioned it to the hostage taker who was there, that it's so weird that I keep, and I was like, come on, like, she's not even looking in my direction, she's just randomly there. And let me tell you, Ed, for the first time in my life, in that place, in the following months, I lost so much hair that I actually shaved my head. I actually shaved because I was losing so much hair. And of course, the direct reason for that was the radiation and the poisoning that I was being put through by the thugs They were, doing all these things. Severe distress. They were causing my body with actual chemical chemotherapy type poisoning, where I was like a chemotherapy patient, Ed, for, you know, 2 years straight. And of course, that was the direct reason. But if you look at it in the larger picture, Ed, there was also the psychological suggestion I was receiving, because I thought that that woman was just a random person. And I have been through the same kind of chemotherapy attacks, but I didn't shave off my hair. I fought the fight. I brought up my vitality back. I've survived. I have believed that I will survive it somehow. But that time, Ed, I didn't have that belief. I was, my spirit was somehow broken. And because of this complete stranger who had been suggesting that I would lose my hair there in that house, she had suggested that again and again, that while you're staying here, you will lose all your hair. Because of that, Ed, because I kept thinking that it wasn't real. I kept thinking that she was some random person there. I became vulnerable. And Ed, the day that I shaved my hair, I was, sitting and thinking about it when all of this, Ed, came to me. And I realized, Ed, that it is so important to know that there are only few humans, actual humans, who wish you well. Because, Ed, you might think, oh, this random person on the road doesn't want to hurt me. Let me tell you, Ed, spiritually, if somebody is not human, they're your enemy, because they are soulless. And the soulless need to vampirize off us to even be living. They are our natural enemy, not made by nature, but by virtue of being soulless and unable to provide energetically for their own selves. They are vampires on us. And if a person doesn't recognize this and understand that this person, at the drop of a hat, will be ready to destroy us because they'll get something, you have no idea how selfish these people are. You really don't have an idea. For small things, they can betray us big time. For small things. When I was, I cannot actually list to you all the times I have been betrayed for small things. For small things, they're like a little bit of money. If they can make a little money, Ed, out of betraying us, and we're never going to find out, they don't have a problem with that. Not even money, for things not even like money, like for some small, whatever, something, anything, Ed, if they think because that's their mindset. And you can't do anything about it, Ed, because their entire game of pretending is about maintaining a surface thing. If you tell them that you can do this and nobody will find out, they will do it. They will do it. I don't know if you've seen it, the shows on television. I forget the name, Ed. The lie detector ones. It was on in the US, and then it was even on here, where they do this lie detector test and see if the person is telling the truth. And I don't know, Ed, to what extent all of that was faked. But when they first started it, to some extent, there was some reality in it. And in that, it was very shocking, because you could see in that if they could get away with some crime, then they would do it. They don't have this thing that compels them to be faithful to others. They don't have it at all. If they be faithful, it's because it's going to cause them trouble if they don't be. That is how the 99% of thug world is, 95% of thug world is. That's them. And we humans, I don't know at how many humans I've come across, or high quality fakes that I've come across, who are in a horrific physical condition and who get sabotaged from their success because they're unable to face that these people who are interacting with them actually would sell them out and would play with them. I don't know, Ed, how many years of my life I'm gonna have to keep on and on and on saying this, that this much of the population is not human. And it's so important for you to know this. It isn't like how it used to be, where you look at the population and think most of them are human and one or two of them are not. No, now it's most of them are not human, and there are very, very rare entities here and there who actually are human. This is the reality. And you're psychically open to suggestion like crazy. And basically psychic suggestion is black magic. You're open to it. If you don't recognize and realize this so deeply, and I just hope that the people who hear what I say and what I write, that they will not have to go through the things that I've gone through to understand and learn what I have learned. I just hope and I pray that God uses what I've been through to get other humans not to go through it, but to just move on to another level. Just move, just bypass the painful learning of this, and just believe what I'm saying, and just withhold your recognition of someone as human, your treatment and your psychological opening to them. Close it until someone proves to be a soul. You get no points in thug world, no points in thug world for being deceived. You only get deceived more and more and drained. You do not get points. You do not get points from anyone for pretending to be a nice person, or not pretending, for trying to be a good person and give everyone the benefit of doubt. You are not getting points from the people you love, because you'll only be getting drained, and the people you love don't want you to be an asshole getting drained. They want you to look after yourself. Your beloved wants you to look after yourself and look after him or her, because if you open the channel, then they get attacked too. Your family, they want you to be safe, they want you to be successful, they want you to be healthy. So you're getting nothing at all by trying to play some kind of, great human being who believes everybody has something good in them and all that. That is all applicable for other times, not for now.